Gray wolves aren't getting the welcome treatment in Colorado just yet. Voters, as you know, approved the measure last year. Of course, we're still a couple of years away from their reintroduction to Colorado, and that doesn't mean, though, that planning isn't already underway.
Denver 7 political reporter Megan Lopez at the state capitol tonight. Megan, this is just one of the first steps in this reintroduction process.
That's right. There are also 3 bills here at the Colorado State Legislature dealing with the reintroduction of gray wolves that range from how to reintroduce them, where to reintroduce them, to how to pay for reintroducing them. Now, that 3-hour-long Colorado Parks and Wildlife hearing today really highlighted the fact that people are still very passionate about this issue, and particularly on the western slope, still very upset about this issue. Nevertheless, because of that ballot initiative, the process to reintroduce these wolves is moving forward.
In November, you voted. By a narrow majority, you decided. Now it's up to Colorado Parks and Wildlife to figure out how to bring gray wolves back to the state.
Nice and gentle.
Proposition 114 calls for gray wolves to be reintroduced by the end of 2023.
And inform the public on some important topics.
Between now and then, stakeholders will have to work through the details. While those meetings get underway, at the state capitol, 3 bills have been introduced based off of the initiative. The first is a bipartisan bill on funding the measure so that the money would come from the state and not from Parks and Wildlife.
They're a cash-funded agency. And so there is discussion of, can you use hunting and fishing license monies to manage a species that you can't hunt?
Roughly $1 million from the general fund would be used each year for the program for things like reimbursing ranchers whose livestock are killed by the wolves.
We need to make sure that we have the money there to compensate for any damages or impacts that they have on the communities where those wolves will be.
A second bill would significantly restrict where the wolves are released.
To only counties who voted yes, or if counties who voted no, those counties would have to have a special election first.
This election map shows you which counties voted yes, mainly in the Front Range. That's not to say you'll see wolves roaming there, but the bill would significantly limit where they could be reintroduced. There's also 2 other proposed restrictions, one to prohibit wolves released where endangered species are present, and another to keep them out of areas where herds are being rebuilt. So what's left?
It would probably be places in Summit County, some places in Pitkin County, and some places in La Plata County.
Representative Matt Soper admits you can't stop the wolves from running once they're introduced, but the way he sees it,
if those citizens really felt so passionate about having wolves, they should be the locations where the wolves are first released.
Okay, so that bill that would limit where the wolves will be reintroduced has only been sponsored by Republicans in the moment, so it's facing a really tough road ahead. Both it and the funding bill will be heard in a committee tomorrow, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. There is a third bill that also has been introduced, and it offers some guidelines for CPW for how to go about this process of reintroducing them. Again, we're keeping an eye on all of it. I'm live in front of the Colorado State Capitol. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.